Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As I sit here at my desk preparing for this week's summit meetings, I am looking back at John Maxwell's 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader and juxtaposing them against our current political climate, locally, regionally, and internationally. And I am saying to myself that if I am selected by less than a third of the number of persons on a board of directors to lead an organization, then I will have no time for arrogance or complacency, but instead I am going to be trying to communicate with the other 2/3 plus of the board that did not elect me, to find out what is it about me that you find unattractive, or what is it about me that you believe would not convince you sufficiently to elect me. When John Maxwell looked at the leadership quality of character, he made a statement that I'd like to share with you. How a leader deals with the circumstances of life tells you many things about his character. Crisis doesn't necessarily make character, but it certainly does reveal it. Adversity, he says, is a crossroads that makes a person choose one of two paths: character or compromise. Every time he chooses character, he becomes stronger, even if that choice brings negative consequences. As Nobel Prize-winning author Alexander Solzhenitsyn noted, the meaning of earthly existing lies not, as we have grown used to thinking of it, in prospering, but in the development of the soul. The development of character is at the heart of our development, not just as leaders, but as human beings. What must every person know about character? Tell me. Addressing the quality of character in a leader, John Maxwell points out 4 things about character before providing a reflection on it. He says character is more than talk. Talent is a gift, but character is a choice. Character brings lasting success with people. And finally, leaders cannot rise above the limitations of their character. So sometimes we notice that leaders have certain flaws in terms of their mannerisms and in terms of their performance. Leaders really cannot rise above the limitations of their character. Let's begin with number 1. Character is more than talk. John Maxwell says, anyone can say that he has integrity, but action is the real indicator of character. Your character determines who you are. Who you are determines what you see. What you see determines what you do. That's why we can never separate a leader's character from his actions. If a leader's actions and intentions are continually working against each other, then look to his character to find out why. Now let's take a look at the other 3 factors that Maxwell discussed under character. Number 2, talent is a gift, but character is a choice. We have no control over a lot of things in life. We don't get to choose our parents. We don't select the location or circumstances of our birth and upbringing. We don't get to pick our talents or IQ, but we do choose our character. In fact, we create it every time we make choices to cop out or dig out of a hard situation, to bend the truth or stand under the weight of it, to take the easy money or pay the price. As you live your life and make choices today, you are continuing to create your character. Number 3, character brings lasting success with people. True leadership, Maxwell says, always involves other people. As the leadership proverb says, if you think you're leading and no one is following you, then you're only taking a walk. Followers do not trust leaders whose character they know to be flawed, and they will not continue following them. Corruption is a major problem in Jamaica. Bear in mind what I shared with you in the first audio about the board. Number 4, leaders cannot rise above the limitations of their character. Have you ever seen highly talented people suddenly fall apart when they achieved a certain level of success? The key to that phenomenon is character. Stephen Berglas, a psychologist at Harvard Medical School and author of The Success Syndrome, says that people who achieve great heights but lack the bedrock character to sustain them through the stress are headed for disaster. He believes they are destined for one or more of the 4 A's: arrogance, painful feelings of aloneness, destructive adventure seeking, or adultery. Each is a terrible price to pay for weak character. Now we're going to be looking today at John Maxwell's reflection on character. He says, if you've found yourself being sucked in by one of the 4 A's that Berglas identifies, call a timeout. The 4 A's were arrogance, aloneness, adventure seeking, and adultery. He says, do what you must to step away from some of the stress of your success and seek professional help. Don't think that the valley you're in will pass with time, more money, or increased prestige. Unaddressed cracks in character only gets deeper and more destructive with time. If you're not struggling in any of these 4 areas, you should still examine the condition of your character. Ask yourself whether your words and actions match all the time. When you say you'll finish an assignment, do you always follow through? If you tell your children that you'll make it to their recital or ball game, are you there for it? Can people trust your handshake as they would a legal contract? As you lead others at home, at work, and in the community, recognize that your character is your most important asset. G. Allen Bernard, president of Mid-Park Incorporated, said, the respect that leadership must have requires that one's ethics be without question. A leader not only stays above the line between right and wrong, he stays well clear of the gray areas. Let's bring it home. To improve your character, do the following, Maxwell says. Search for the cracks. Spend some time looking at the major areas of your life, work, marriage, family, service, etc., and identify anywhere you may have cut corners, compromised, or let people down. Write down every instance you can recall from the past 2 months. Look for patterns. Examine the responses that you just wrote down. Is there a particular area where you have a weakness? Or do you have a type of problem that keeps surfacing? Detectable patterns will help you to diagnose character issues. Face the music. The beginning of character repair comes when you face your flaws, apologize, and deal with the consequences of your actions. Create a list of people to whom you need to apologize for your actions. Then follow through with sincere apologies. Rebuild. It's one thing to face up to your past actions. It's another to build a new future. Now that you've identified any areas of weakness, create a plan that will prevent you from making the same mistakes again. Daily takeaway. A man took his young daughter to a carnival, and she immediately ran over to a booth and asked for cotton candy. As the attendant handed her a huge ball of it, the father asked, "Sweetheart, are you sure you can eat all that?" "Don't worry, Dad," she answered. "I'm a lot bigger on the inside than on the outside." That's what real character is, being bigger on the inside. Have a blessed day. Tomorrow, God willing, we will look at the second quality, charisma. The first impression can seal the deal.